Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the Born in Chaos mod showcase. In this episode I'll be showing you most of the mobs that you can find in this mod pack. So stick around and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, our very first mob is this guy here. He is called the Bones Caller and this is what he looks like. You'll find this mob in the Dark Tower. If you saw my video about structures then you'll know all about him already, but if you didn't, here he is again. And if you defeat him, he'll drop the following items: some bones and some magic dust. Alright, next up is the Supreme Bones Caller. He will be at the top of the Dark Tower. Again, if you saw my structures video, then you will know what that looks like. If you defeat him, which takes 2 hits, he'll drop some Seeds of Chaos, some magic dust, an Orb of the Summoner, and a bone. Sometimes though he will drop other things as well, so do keep that in mind. Alright, next up is the Spirit Guide. Here's what this dude looks like, and if you defeat him, he'll drop some bones and some flowers. Alright, next up is the Life Stealer. Here's what this creepy dude looks like, and if you manage to do enough damage, he'll turn into this fella right here. And if you manage to defeat that, he'll drop the following items: some Seeds of Chaos, some piece of dark metal, and he'll also drop some Life Stealer bones. Next up is the Door Knight. You also might have seen him in my structures video, but in case you haven't, here he is again. This dude can survive in the daylight, and if you defeat him, he'll sometimes drop his spear as well, and he also won't always drop a bucket, so his drops are randomized, but one thing is for certain, he'll always drop rotten flesh. Alright, next up is the Zombie Clown. Again, you might have seen him in my structures video, but if you haven't, here's what he looks like. And if you defeat him, he'll drop some rotten flesh, and he'll always drop some stimulating decoction. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Anyway, next up is the Zombie Bruiser. Here's what he looks like. He will spawn naturally during the night, and if you defeat him, he'll drop some rotten flesh. Sometimes he can also drop other things as well, but he'll most likely drop rotten flesh. Alright, next up is the Fallen Chaos Knight. Here's what he looks like. And if you defeat him, he'll spawn some maggots, as you can see. Not all the time though. He'll drop a Seed of Chaos, some rotten flesh, and that metal again. Alright, the next one is the Swarmer. This dude will spawn both during the day and during the night. He can also survive during the day as well. And if you manage to defeat him, as you can see, he'll spawn a bunch of flies. And he'll also drop some slime balls, some rotten flesh, and a bloody Gladfly eye, although that's from a different mob, isn't it? Next up is the Diamond Termite. Here's what this little guy looks like, and if you defeat it, it'll drop a Diamond Termite shard. Next up is the Firelight. Again, you might have already seen him in my structures video, but here he is again if you haven't. And if you defeat it, he'll set anything he dies on fire. And sometimes he'll drop some magic dust, but again, not all the time. Alright, next up is the Spider Mother. People with arachnophobia, you might want to look away now. Here's what she looks like, as you can see. If there is any of those maggots nearby, she will go after them and kill them. And if she does that, she'll spawn baby versions of herself. If you defeat her, she'll spawn a bunch of baby spiders. And as for her drops, she'll drop some strings, some spider eyes, and also a spider mandible. Alright, people with arachnophobia, you can look now. Next up is the Thorn Shell. Here's what this little guy looks like. He will spawn on beaches, and he's necessary for a piece of armor that you can get in this game. Keep in mind though, that when you do hit him, he will hurt you. But here's the piece you need to make some armor. You might have already seen me tell you that in the previous episode. Next up is the Corpse Fish. Here's what this little guy looks like. This guy is a menace when you're going anywhere in water in a boat because he can destroy your boat, so do keep that in mind. If you defeat him, he'll drop some rotten fish. Right, next up is the Guttonfish. As you can see, he is absolutely massive and absolutely terrifying. And if you defeat it, he'll drop the following items: a glutton fish eye, some rotten fish, and also he'll also drop his stomach for some reason. Right, there's that group. On to the next one. Alright, for our next group we got the restless spirit. Here's what this dude looks like. If there is another mob nearby, he will attempt to possess it, and that mob will become stronger. If you manage to defeat him, he'll drop this spirit item here. Next up is the Scarlet... I'm not even going to try pronouncing his name. Anyway, here's what this dude looks like. If you defeat him, he'll also drop the spirit. Right, next up is the Dreadhound. As you can see, this is what he looks like. He will occasionally spawn with the Dire Hounds, which you may have already seen in my structures video. And if you defeat him, he'll drop some monster skin and also some monster flesh. Right, next up is the Phantom Creeper. Here's what he looks like. He will spawn in the end. I won't say where in the end, as I actually want you to play this mod for yourself. But if you manage to defeat it, he'll spawn 2 of himself. But afterwards, you'll be able to actually defeat him. He will drop some phantom powder, which is needed to make a weapon in this mod pack. Alright, next up is the Dark Vortex. Here's what he looks like. He will again spawn naturally during the night. And if you defeat it, he'll drop a spirit again, and he will also drop a Dark Rod, which is necessary to make a lot of weapons in this mod pack. Alright, next up is the Spirit of Chaos. Here's what he looks like, and if you defeat it, he will also drop one of those spirits. Right, next up is the Nightmare Stalker. Now, as soon as I spawn him in, he is going to vanish, so play close attention. As you can see, he just vanished, and the only thing I can make out of him is just his eyes. If you do manage to defeat this thing, he'll drop a spirit and Nightmare Claw, and also some monster skin. Next up is the Missionary. Here's what he looks like. He'll always have at least 2 zombie villagers with him. These zombie villagers will be different every time. And if you manage to defeat him, he'll drop some of those spirits again. And sometimes he has a chance to drop 2 of these charms. One of the charm of resistance and a different charm as well. But in this case, he drops only the charm and a piece of dark metal. Next up is the Pumpkin Spirit. As you can see, here's what this little guy looks like. Again, you might have already seen him in my structures video, but if you didn't, he's the one that spawns in the farmhouse. He is a neutral mob, so he won't attack you unless you attack it. And if you manage to set him on fire, he'll become a different mob and he will become hostile after that point. And here's what he looks like. If you defeat it, he'll drop some charcoal, some magic powder, and also a flaming evil pumpkin. Alright, next up is Krampus. Yes, that is his actual name. As you can see, he's sort of like this weird Santa looking thing. He spawns whenever you kill enough passive mobs. And if you manage to defeat him, he'll drop the following items. He'll drop a permafrost shard, his bag, a monster flesh, a piece of dark metal, and a Krampus horn. Do keep in mind though, there is a chance he might not always give you his bag and also the shards. You might have to kill him more than once in order to get what you desire. Anyway, next up, the Sir Pumpkinhead. As you can see, here's what he looks like. And if you manage to defeat him, he'll spawn these 2 little guys here. He'll also get off his horse. And if you do manage to actually defeat him, which takes a lot of hits as his head will detach from his body first, and then you'll have to actually defeat his body afterwards. But if you manage to do all of that, you'll be rewarded with the following: a soul saber, some holiday candy, a pumpkin staff, a bag of candy, and some smoldering infernal embers. All of those are very useful for various recipes in this mod pack. Alright, last but not least is Lord Pumpkinhead himself. Here's what he looks like. Again, if you manage to defeat him, he'll pop off his horse and he'll spawn different things every time. In this case, I got this little hat dude, this little zombie guy, and of course, he'll pop off his horse, and then you have to attack either his head or his body. But if you do manage to actually defeat him, he'll drop the following. He'll drop his pumpkin pistol, some magical holiday candy, his hat, some pumpkin bullets for the gun, and also the Soulsbane. That's all of the mobs that I wanted to show you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, then give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. I'll see you next time.